Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Welcome to Right and Wrong. This is the show where we try to wake up the woke by talking common sense about the issues of the day. I'm your host, Brian Ruka, and with me as always over there is my man and yours, producer Juice. He is known out there on the World Wide Web as the Truth Box because he loves to speak the truth all day, every day. My man, Truth Box, what is going on tonight, brother? How you doing?
What up? Doing great. How are you?
Oh, ready to rock and roll, man. After that VP debate.
Yeah, that was
Gonna
hilarious.
Gonna have a lot to say about that, I guess I should say. So, I guess let's jump right back into things, huh? What do you say, pal?
Kick it off. Let's go.
All right. So, I'd like to start tonight by talking about something that everybody here could probably relate to. Nostalgia. Now, I've been rewatching Stranger Things, and obviously the entire series is built on nostalgia for people that grew up in the 80s and the 90s. Star Wars got a reboot. Indiana Jones ended up getting rebooted. Disney's animated library continues to get rebooted into live action movies. You know why? It's because Disney sucks now and they can't come up with any original ideas themselves. Now, that is true. But honestly, I think it's more because they're marketing to people my age based on nostalgia for our youth. They've determined that we would like to relive our favorite childhood movies with our own children. They foolishly have overlooked the fact that we can relive those moments by just watching the old movies. Most of them still hold up. My kids love the real Indiana Jones movies. They love the Goonies, Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, and many more films that I was lucky enough to see in the theater when they came out. Now let's focus just on the Disney animated classics for a minute. I'm pushing 40 years old, so I grew up during the Disney Renaissance, the resurgence, if you will. I may or may not still have a Flounder and a Sebastian Christmas ornament from the McDonald's Little Mermaid marketing blitz. Now, I saw Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, and Liz Warren's breakout role of Pocahontas, all at the movie theater. I loved going to the movies. I really did. When I look back on those films and the experiences I had while watching them, I find myself nostalgic for the movie theater experience much more than for the actual movies that I mentioned. That's not to take anything away from those films here. I'd argue that they still hold up and I'd watch any one of them today and I would enjoy it. But there was something special about going to the movies and seeing something for the first time on that big screen. I miss the anticipation of seeing the trailer weeks, if not months ahead of time. I miss showing up at the theater, which always felt like a larger-than-life building. It had bright lights shining on it, posters for upcoming films everywhere. The place had a real buzz to it. You could smell the fresh popcorn from the parking lot. It was always crowded there. There was definitely a vibe. I bet that if I told you to close your eyes right now and think of the movie theater, you'd have a positive picture in your head. You might even be able to actually smell that popcorn that I mentioned. Sadly, that movie theater experience is gone. I've gone to the movies twice over the last couple of weeks, and I'm here to tell you the whole experience absolutely sucks now. That vibe I was just describing, gone. The larger-than-life feel to the building, gone. The fresh popped popcorn smell, gone. The place was falling apart. Trash barrels overfilled and no one worried about changing them. A large row of maybe 16 doors to enter that building, all locked except for the two directly in the middle. We even had a stinking dog barking in the back of the theater with us. The fresh popcorn smell, nowhere to be found. You know why? They don't even pop it there anymore. It was getting dumped into the popcorn machine from a giant plastic bag that you'd see at a carnival. And don't get me started on the price. I brought the family to see Beetlejuice. Again, pandering to the 80s parents out there. And 4 tickets cost us $57. We smuggled in our own candy, obviously, but you can't go to the movies and not get that popcorn and a soda. So we got in line for that. 4 medium-sized popcorns, 2 large drinks that came to $64, people. Are you kidding me? What world are we living in? The soda machine, it was horrible. We dumped it out 3 times in the hopes that a different machine or a flavor choice would help it taste better. Nope. Nasty, watered down excuse for a soda. So you can imagine how mediocre that non-freshly popped popcorn was, even after I had loaded it with butter. Needless to say, I'm not in much of a hurry to bring my family back to the movies. But that kind of stinks. It really does. So I want to be able to do that with my family, but it's hard to justify dropping $120 on subpar entertainment that will only end up aggravating me in the end. Why pay that when we can watch it at home in a few months? And trust me, the fresh popped popcorn that I make at home is much better than the stuff that we got at the theater. It's kind of crazy to think that we're going to see Mamma Mia on stage this weekend at the Boston Opera House, and those tickets cost me $180. I get that I'm not factoring in the parking and maybe a snack that we might get when we see it live on stage, but to be able to go see that, have an opportunity to do something like that for only $60 more than a trip to the local movie theater is just ridiculous. Think about the superior quality and level of entertainment I'm about to get. So, why don't we bring this whole long-winded story back to our current culture, society, and politics? I believe that Donald Trump has become a successful and appealing politician because he remembers when America was operating like the movie theater I described at the beginning. Trump remembers an America that was larger than life, an America that had the bright lights of the world shining on it, an America that definitely had a vibe and was a place that everybody wanted to be. That's the nostalgia that he's tapping into when he says, "Make America great again." On the other hand, Kamala Harris, that is, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, they've all delivered the current movie theater experience for us for far too long now. We've watched as our once great nation has given us such a small return on our investment. Our taxes go up and our wages stagnate as our cities get dirtier and less safe. The products we buy are less durable. The food we eat is like the pre-bagged popcorn. It stinks. And we're in this mess because of Democrat-backed policies over 12 of the last 15 years. The movie theaters are going out of business because of the horrible experience they've been delivering to their customers. We have no other choice than to stop going and stop giving away our money for a lackluster experience. The movie theaters will all eventually close unless someone comes along to make movie theaters great again. Fortunately for us, in about 30 days, we have the ability to do something about the poor experience of living in America under Democrat control. We're going to be able to vote to once again become a proud country, a clean country, and a prosperous country when we vote to make America great again. And with that being said, I do believe it's time to welcome in our good friend, Mr. Ric Flair, because it is showtime, baby. Woo!
Showtime!
Oh, yeah. Juice, have you been to the movies lately, pal?
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely hear you on that popcorn bit.
terrible, right?
Would love a nice. Dude, I remember movie theater popcorn so good that one of my friends' dads would be like, drop us off at the movies, or not even, just like you're at the mall. Gotta bring this guy a bag of popcorn from the theater. Oh, because you
'Cause it
can't
was
get that
that good.
experience anywhere else. Like not even
Oh
going
my
in to see a film, just grabbing a
That's
corn to go.
that's incredible.
But
Incredible.
yeah, I did go recently. Otherwise, the popcorn was lackluster.
Dude, it's terrible. I was so disappointed.
And it's so depressing, like showing your tickets, holding all your shit, trying to show your tickets on your phone because you got the tub of soda.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
lackluster. Yeah.
Dude, the one good thing they have done is like the pre-advanced pick your own seats, all that stuff. That's a great concept. I love that. But the theater just run down, man. Like they have the reclining seats, but like there's rips in them and stuff. Like just not good quality, you know. And when you're paying that kind of dough, like I can't get over that aspect
Your
of it.
camera looks good now.
Oh, there we go.
It was
It was
bad there
jostling
for a
around
bit.
on me the whole time I was talking, huh?
Yeah, it was a little. At least on my side, it was pretty bright.
Thing drives me nuts, man. Anybody who knows about technology, get at us here at the
Want
Right
to
and Wrong
donate their
Podcast.
time? They want to donate
Please.
their time.
Or just explain to a moron like me how to turn off like an auto adjust, like camera nonsense that I got going on. But anyways, let's get two things here, Juice. What do you say? You want to talk about this debate?
Sure.
All right, awesome. Before we do that, let's remind everybody at home to please subscribe to the show, like our stuff. Right and Wrong YouTube page, the Rumble page. Give Juicebox a follow at Juicebox1423. I got it right? Nice. On the Twitter machine. All right. So I hope you guys watched that absolute takedown by the Republican vice presidential nominee the other night. It was a great showing for Mr. J.D. Vance, and I think it kind of reminded me of watching a little something like this. If Juice, you don't mind giving it to us.
Here's Brady back, firing end zone touchdown.
David Patton made a heck of a move, though.
Did he ever? And what a catch he made.
Brady gets all kinds of protection, throwing down the middle, caught, touchdown. Two tight end. Quick pump, touchdown. Brady has it, throwing, touchdown.
First down and they need a yard. They'll go for the field goal. And there's play action, the pass into the end zone. Touchdown, David Gibbons. And he lost.
Brady looking to throw it, touchdown.
From the 5, Brady with time, now on the run, throws, touchdown! He wouldn't have had the first anyway. First down and Brady threatening to go long, and indeed launches it for Branch, has it at the 10 and in the end zone. Touchdown, New England.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen. J.D. Vance played the role of Tom Brady the other night. He was calm, cool, collected as he methodically took out bumbling, not fit for primetime Tampon Tim in that debate. It was a masterful performance in my mind. What do you think? Am I over exaggerating, or you think I feel like I'm right on it, man? Best debate performance I've watched.
Yeah, it's great. Don't want to spoil anything. I think we got a couple clips, but
dude, you're the best.
Was Deion Branch.
I love it.
It was Deion Branch money.
Yeah, Deion Branch was
right.
awesome.
When you look back at it, like he's made some pretty
so
big
good.
grabs, right?
So good. I loved those teams. Those early Patriots teams were great. But yeah, that's all I was thinking of. I was watching the debate. I was like, this guy is the GOAT right now of debate performances. He was just, it was Brady-esque, and he was awesome. And honestly, it was Vance versus three libs up there on stage, as it typically is. And I'm getting sick of saying that. I feel like kind of like just a crybaby almost, in a way, where it's always like,
oh, the refs,
the moderators, they were, the refs out to get us. But it's just so obvious, so blatant when you see it. And I don't know, it's just, they were at it again the other night. So I guess before we really dig into them, I'd like to just kind of show you guys a little bit of the body language that I picked up on. And this is focusing on the moderators, but keep it in the back of your head whenever you see the clips we're going to show of Walz's body language throughout the night too. He had deer in a headlight, bug eyes going on. and was frantically like writing the whole time. Like he looked nervous. And this first clip we're going to show you here is the two moderators just starting the thing. This is how they open the show. And these two ladies look like they've never been on television before. They were like completely scared, nervous, rattled. The girl, I think her name's Margaret Brennan. Watch her left arm here, the one in the pink. She's going to be on the right side, your right, while you're watching it.
What are you, a
Her left arm.
psychologist? Like break down interrogation tape?
I'm telling you, watch this. Watch, she's got her arm. She like they went live. They were probably doing the Wayne's World thing, like in 5, 4, 3. And they like went
your
for
head.
it.
I mean, your camera kicked out on my side, but I assume you were bobbing your head. You're still bobbing your head, guys?
Exactly.
So you're telling me this is how...
So, dude, she froze. She's got like her arms like underneath her paper. Like she got paper in front of her, hands underneath it, left arm completely stiff to the side, like unnatural as could be. And this is the opening to the show. So, let's see what it was.
Want to show them how the mods entered the chat?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Good evening. I'm Nora O'Donnell, and thank you for joining us for tonight's CBS News Vice Presidential Debate. We want to welcome our viewers on CBS, on other networks here in the U.S. and around the world. We have a consequential night ahead, and our focus is the issues that matter to you, the voter. Let's introduce the candidates. Minnesota's Democratic Governor Tim Walz and Ohio's Republican Senator J.D. Vance tonight meeting for the first time.
I'm Margaret Brennan. In order to have a thoughtful and civil debate, these are the rules that both campaigns have agreed to. Questions will be directed at one candidate, who will have 2 minutes to respond. The other candidate will be allowed 2 minutes for rebuttal. Then each candidate will get another minute to make further points, with an additional 1 minute each at the discretion of the moderator. The primary role of the moderators is to facilitate the debate between the candidates, enforce the rules, and provide the candidates with the opportunity to fact-check claims made by each other.
CBS News reserves the right to mute the candidates' microphones to maintain decorum. We have not shared the questions or topics with the campaign.
So, like, am I wrong
they're
there?
both doing it. It looks like they made them like put your arm
Yeah.
out.
The one who first started when the girl in pink started talking, she was like, "Can't breathe, like don't breathe."
Dude, and they were doing this. You're still bobbing your heads, right?
They were.
They're doing that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It was like crazy. Have you like? Shouldn't they
Don't
be
mouth
like?
along with it either.
Wouldn't you think that they'd be like prepared and ready and loose? Like that stuff like radiates right through the
They
screen.
were like, in 5, 4, 3. Hey, girls, remember, whatever you do, don't move your right arm or whatever.
Yeah, stay.
That's the
Like
last
she
thing they
just.
get.
It was crazy. And I hope you guys kind of paid attention to what they were saying about the rules there. They broke down because those are going to come back into play. I feel like at some point.
I heard about the decorum. The decorum.
Yep. Decorum. Yep. The decorum. That's ours. That
We
belongs
keep
to
that?
us.
The
We
Fidium?
keep it. Yeah. Okay. So that's them going into this. So clearly nervous, feeling some pressure. Walz, I already told you, bug eyes the whole time, jostling his notes, writing, looked nervous. And JD Vance was exact opposite of that. The guy, I didn't see him write once all night long. Everything he talked about, it was up there in his head, and he was ready to go for it. People were talking about how he did like the Jim Halpert look to the camera almost. And I get the joke. I think it was funny, especially with split screens and stuff. But like, honestly, anytime he glanced in the camera's direction, it's because there's a clock behind the moderators. So he's keeping track of like, okay, Walz is at like a minute 30 here. Like start prepping. Like that's how prepared this guy was. That's how ready and locked in and engaged he was.
There's not many awkward pauses with him in a even just in a gaggle, a media gaggle.
No, not at all. Not at all. He always is like sharp. Like
yep, he's great in a gaggle, they say.
Yes, he is.
Certain people like you'd want in a foxhole, certain people you want in a gaggle, you know?
Yeah.
Two different people.
Put him,
actually, he was both, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Great job. No pun intended there, huh?
You put him anywhere.
Yeah, you can. He'll gaggle himself right out of the foxhole. Get right out of there. So he reminded me of like a predator just stalking his prey as he was like standing there. Like he didn't do the stupid Kamala like hand on the chin bit that she was going with. He never got caught with like his mouth open. Like, you know what I mean? It was posture was there. It was just A+. And I've mentioned it on this show before, and I've heard it mentioned to other places that there's a lot of people out there that decide on who want to debate, they say, by watching it on mute. And I thought about doing that for you guys here today, but obviously it wouldn't make for a great show for us if we're like, hey, let's watch this clip right now with no audio. It'd be dead air on us. But
might want to mute us,
yeah, they might if we give them the ability to. So I recommend maybe doing that yourself if you go back and watch some of this stuff. But if you just watch that on mute and you look at these two people, the way they carry themselves, their demeanor, their body language, it's Vance all day, every day, and twice on Sunday, if you will. So he just crushed it. Now, when I look at Walz and I see him with that kind of look and he's, nervous, kind of frantic, stumbling, the only thing that I could think of, jostling. I kept thinking of this dude from one of my favorite movies of all time. If Juice can give us this.
Who rang that bell? We did. Can't you read? Read what? The notice. What notice? It's on the door, as plain as the nose on my face. It's the...
That's all I can't help it. Like, I know it's not an identical look to him, but it's more the mannerism that that does it for me. And all like frazzled, like, oh, who rang that bell? You know what I mean?
Who rang that bell?
Exactly. And the eyes are out there like going, and that's all I could, like, just watching Walz. I'm like, that's the who rang the bell guy. So that's who Tim Walz is. We have Tom Brady versus the guard of Emerald City, and that's how the debate played out. Okay, so getting into what was asked of the candidates, second question of the night. Of course, there's going to be a question of what's going on. Florida, North Carolina, devastation in our country. Hurricane Helene, right? Is that the name, Juice? Yeah. Hit, just took out a ton of people's property, lives, like it's bad. So you knew there was going to be something along those lines in the debate, but listen to the way that this question is framed by the moderator. And this is just, again, another example of how the game is completely rigged in the Democrats' favor. When you frame a question this way, it's extremely difficult. So without further ado, Juice.
Yeah, pouncing on the right.
On a catastrophe, yeah.
Yeah. How can we spin this?
Exactly.
Margaret, thank you. Let's turn now to Hurricane Helene.
Hold on, though, before. Thank you. You heard this voice crack or whatever.
Nervous. Tell you, this was only question number 2, so they weren't in the
move your arm. Margaret.
Margaret, thank you. Let's turn now.
Thank you.
Margaret, thank you. Let's turn now to Hurricane Helene. The storm could become one of the deadliest on record. More than 160 people are dead and hundreds more are missing. Scientists say climate change makes these hurricanes larger, stronger, and more deadly because of the historic rainfall. Senator Vance, according to CBS News polling, 7 in 10 Americans and more than 60% of Republicans under the age of 45 favor the U.S. taking steps to try and reduce climate change. Senator, what responsibility would the Trump administration have to try and reduce the impact of climate change?
Senator Vance, Americans are dying as they're stranded by the Harris-Biden administration and the less than stellar response from FEMA. why don't you and your fellow Republicans believe in climate change? Like, that's essentially like what this is. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is just a complete epic failure of a response from our federal government right now. And there no mention of that. They don't even, I gave them more credit than they need by that little charade I just played. But essentially it's like, why do Republicans suck so much and hate climate change and want people to die because of it? Like, you kidding me? Science.
We wouldn't be in this mess if you had a electric stove.
Exactly. You got cooking with that damn gas stove still, aren't you? Redneck Republican. Like, come on. It's insane. I don't understand why they have to put it that way. Like, hey, there's a disaster, I hate the scientists say, like, we learned our lesson with the COVID nonsense, and that's still what they try to do. The experts, Walz mentioned this a couple of times on any topic that came up. He would try to, oh, well, we want to listen to the experts. We want to listen to the
science.
Doctors. We want to listen to, and no, dude, these people lost their credibility. And
yeah, I like that. No, we're not going to do that anymore.
No, we're going to use our judgment. The climate, like we've had hurricanes forever. They're not any worse now than they are. We have people that live closer to the sea at times. We have people that, have built bigger homes that are getting, wrecked because of this stuff. It's not because you're drinking from a plastic straw that all of a sudden the hurricanes are worse nowadays. It's not because you're, not choosing to power your home by wind power. Like, no. Like, that's not the reason this stuff is happening. If anything, the climate, we're going to have things to deal with. We're going to have disasters that we have to prepare for. But I would rather put our resources into the prepare situations, help, get these places ready to handle a situation like this when it happens. Build better seawall, situations, I guess. I'm missing a word here, but some
of that infrastructure money from the bill or whatever.
From the
historic infrastructure.
From the exactly, the Inflation Reduction Act. Get a little bit of that, but it's put your resources into that. Don't try to shame people into thinking that they have to go green in order to somehow stop the climate from happening, stop the hurricanes and tornadoes and flooding from happening. It's not going to happen, dude. We're a small little speck on the radar of this vast planet that we live on. Like, it's not, and even if we did all the shit they want us to do,
the experts say we can only change it by something that wouldn't matter anyways.
It's tiny, right?
Yeah. If everybody used
that would be like everybody on the planet too. So you're talking about like India and China, which could, they're not on the same page with us with this. Like, they're not going green on anything. So we could do all we want
on this either.
So it's just crazy, and it's mind-boggling that people actually fall for this nonsense, and it's just frustrating when you hear it posed like that during a debate.
Real quick, I think we need back to just to call back to the experts. I think we need quote unquote experts, scientists. You know what I mean? You can't go out and do your research for everything. Dig into it and get a degree in this or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can't get it from the news. You know what I mean? They say experts said. You got to go see what the experts said and make your own opinion about it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Look at different experts, compare it instead of be like, oh, the expert from what MSNBC News said this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
I think we need people that go through the info and then you got the info and figure it out.
Of course, but that speaks to the type of moral, credibility that people have in our society. do you trust the expert to give you the actual information, or do you think he's on the take because he's getting a paycheck from MSNBC and going to pedal in the direction that they
Or
want?
getting a paycheck from like Big Pharma, right?
Exactly. So of course, climate disaster is great news for this climate alarmist people out there. Like, oh, I'm a scientist who studies the climate. Now I'm going to get, speaking engagements. I'm going to be able to do
If
this.
you say if you say like, one, we don't have enough years to even compare to. Like, what if it always does this, goes up and down? Like you have like what, a couple 100 years worth of data, or however many years they've been able to keep the temperature. So like, if you even just said that, they like shout you down.
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh, you're a climate
what if
denier,
it heats and
juice.
cools? As have you ever heard of the Younger Dryas period? Or like, if you say something that like whatever. I'm just kidding with that. It's from the Y-Files. Shout out to the Y-Files. No, it is a real thing. But I'm saying, like, even if you just said, "Hey, look at," you wouldn't be a climate scientist.
No,
you
not
can't be
at
a
all.
climate scientist who says that the climate
They would
isn't
ridicule
changing.
you.
Yeah.
Right. So with that in mind, let's shift into what I think was the best moment of the night for JD Vance. And this is when fact checking goes wrong, and the fact checkers, I guess.
Who watches the Watchmen?
Yeah, great reference.
Who fact checks the fact checkers?
Let's see what happened to these moderators when they got their hands caught in the cookie jar by Mr. JD Vance.
How we treat other people.
Thank you, Governor. And just to clarify for our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status, temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important because
we're going to turn now to the economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
The rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app, where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That is the facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by our own leadership.
Thank you, Senator, for describing the legal process. We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those laws have been on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The CBP One app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something that Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut. We have so much we want to get to. Thank you for explaining the legal process.
Your mics have been cut. Like, that is a terrible look for CBS. Horrible look.
He cooked them though, right?
He really did. I love like how he started that whole thing. We agreed beforehand that you weren't going to fact check us, but since you just did, he just boom goes into it. And you see the way she did that too? Subtle. Like, that's the way they did it again.
Thank you for explaining the legal process.
Yeah. But like before that,
the other part,
like, she drops the line and then goes over to like her friend there or whatever, actually people are legal migrants there in Springfield, Ohio. Juice, we need to move along here. Juice, bring it. And she's just trying to keep going. We have so much to get to. It's the same way that the
class.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much to get to this week,
so much. But it was just like the same thing that the lady did to Trump about the abortions, like after partial born, botched abortions. No state is it legal to murder a baby after they're born. And
we put it on in the comments on them.
Yeah, exactly. So,
we put it in the chat.
That's where Vance, his Ivy League, brain comes into play right there, where it's like Trump is great at what he does, but he's not like a facts guy, like numbers guy like that. Like he's a showman. He's a
Riz, like a Riz guy.
There you go. You're learning from our stuff, Juice. Where Vance is just, the guy is brilliant. He really is, man. To be able to come out and just throw that out there. And did you hear what he was saying? He was basically saying, like, so her point was the people you're talking about.
Yeah, they're actually citizens, but he's like, but they're not because just because Kamala waves a wand doesn't, you know
Yep.
what I mean? You're just calling them citizens because they came through
Exactly.
an app.
Because
Because
you
they
gave
came
them
through your app.
temporary. It's
Yeah.
like a temporary thing while we, push your case 10 years down the line. She's trying to act like they're like a citizen who came and passed their green card test, and became an actual citizen of the country. No.
They're just app citizens.
Yes, app
Downloaded the
citizens.
app.
And even
Dude, have you downloaded the app? People are like, oh, everybody's dying to come right. Well, have you downloaded the app?
Remember, Biden was pushing that app a few years ago too. Download this app on the phone when you're in Mexico before you get here, and you can apply. Soon, all you got to do is download and put your name, and we'll let you in.
It has an app for everything.
And when they cut off his mic, he was putting Walz in his place too. So he not only fact checked the moderator, but then he fact checked Walz, who tried to jump in and be like, "These laws have been on the books since the '90s." And Vance is like, "Actually, they haven't been. This is an app. There were no apps in the 90s, Tim. And these people are here on temporary status. And you guys are trying to pass them off as actual immigrants who gained citizenship." So, no.
Voting rights, too.
Exactly. So it was a great job. And so he did that. He crushed it. And how do you think MSNBC thought about that moment, Juice? What do you think MSNBC thought about that?
I bet they applauded him for that.
You would think, right?
Answer. I think
you got to tip your cap when someone, even if you oppose them,
you got God, sometimes you just got it. But you also sometimes see that on. Hey, CNN was getting on, Kamala a bit there. So sometimes they do that. So I'm sure
they did. Why don't we see?
Yeah, props where it's due.
And I actually think if you're a woman, that might be the worst moment JD Vance had, because he was going to mansplain right over that mute button. He was, and again, I don't pretend to know how everyone will react to this. I think that a lot of women in positions of authority that should command respect just by virtue of that dynamic will see themselves in some dude that disrespected them and talked over. I mean, there was a moment like that with then vice presidential in the Harris Pence debate where she's
trying to reference the I'm speaking.
Yeah, I'm speaking.
JD Vance mansplained there? No, I think he just stood up for himself when they were trying to.
It's a debate. People talk over each other in these things every time. That's why you have to have.
So the ladies want to be treated equal. They want to be on the big stage in front of the bright lights with the men, right? And put themselves in there. Yet when they do a bad job and they get corrected,
can't call it out. Yeah.
False information. If you correct her and you stand up for yourself, now you're mansplaining. So, okay, I see how it goes, Juice. It's a lose-lose situation.
It's definitely not a one-and-one
Republican,
right?
Not a one-and-one. Definitely not. So I couldn't believe that mansplaining. Come on, dude. When you see, I want you to see What Is a Woman. I'm gonna spoiler alert something from there, but when he's
seen that, you mean
am I racist? Sorry. When he's talking with that Robin DiAngelo lady, she says something about mansplaining and says what it is, and Walsh is in character, the thing, on the same team as her, and he's like, oh well, actually, and he gives a different definition to what mansplaining is.
Yeah, I know. Mansplain's the mansplain.
It was unbelievable. She doesn't know what to do. She just kind of keeps going with it, but it was
yeah.
Brilliant.
I can picture him going well, actually,
yeah. Oh, it was so good, and he did it he just because it obviously he's in character there, and he just pulled it off perfect. The guy's great. Okay, so from mansplaining,
keeping it tight tonight.
Hopefully, and that's the goal, man. So let's shift gears, jump out of the debate. We will revisit it towards the end of the show, but let's talk about this longshoremen strike that's going on. You guys have heard about this. It's all the guys working on the docks. If you've ever seen season 2 of The Wire, I'm sure you get an image of what you're dealing with here. The Sabatka family, they're on the shores, handling the containers, shipments coming in and out. So this man that I just heard about, his name is Harold Daggett, and he's the president of the Longshoremen's Union, who just authorized his members to go on strike effective October 1st. So
he's the top dog.
Top dog. He put, 20 5 docks, shut down work on them from all along the East Coast, Texas. I don't think they have anything in California. So, but he's got a huge, huge influence here. And this guy, he's been making the rounds. Let's hear what he has to say, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about him. So Juice, give it to us.
Let me explain something to you. These people today don't know what a strike is.
Right.
When my men hit the streets from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down. You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you. First week, be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in. The lumber's not coming in. They lose their job. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are. Now I have the president screaming at me, I'm putting a Taft-Hartley on you. Go ahead. Taft-Hartley means I have to go back to work for 90 days. That's a cooling off period. Do you think when I go back for 90 days, those men are going to go to work on that pier? It's going to cost the company's money to pay their salaries. Well, they went from 30 moves an hour maybe to 8. They're going to be like this. Who's going to win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. And in today's world, I'll cripple you. I will cripple you, and you have no idea what that means. Nobody does.
He's going to cripple us, Juice. This guy. This guy. Wow.
Dude, he's that's not a... I don't know if that's a great look for, being the head of the union, or have like that big gold, like sitting on the other side of Mr. T.
Horrible.
For like right with the gold glasses. He's like,
yeah.
Oh, I bet it would be nice to have some cars coming off those ships right about now.
Exactly.
Like, right with the big, that chain is thick.
Exactly. Dude,
and I don't know anything going on about, I don't know enough about this topic and whatever, but like he means business, right? I'm not cooling off during that period.
Absolutely.
A 90-day cool off period.
Dude, someone needs to tell him that malls have already closed, though. He thinks he's closing down malls by holding up shipments.
You want those big bags of stale popcorn to get off these ships and into those movie theaters? We're going to meet us at the table.
Exactly. And you know what stood out to me through all that, though? All those examples he was talking about, I'm sitting there in my head being like, yeah, why isn't any of this stuff produced and made here in this country so it doesn't have to come in on a ship? Like, okay, like I'm good. Like I don't need to be held hostage by this guy walking around like a thug holding us. He's going to cripple the American economy because he wants a 77% pay raise, Juice. They turned down 50% pay raise. They're asking for 77% pay raise with zero automation on the docks. Every other dock all over the world, they use robots, computer machines to make them more efficient. Our American docks, we don't, because of people like him and because the Democrats, the Bidens and the Harrises of the world, they are in bed with those union guys, those union bosses. And I hate being like, I really have. I'm sorry. I'm definitely more anti-union than pro-union. And that's from someone who did a year as the president of the union at my little local city job that I had. It was a joke. But
you want a joke, you come through me.
Exactly. Thank you. So I hate it because the regular normal working guy, like I get it and I understand it. We know a ton of people like this, but the reason I'm turned off by unions is because of dudes like this. This guy's the president of the union. He talks a big game, like he cares about all his members there. He doesn't. This guy cares about himself. He makes $900,000 a year. He lives in a mansion. He drives a Bentley. He used to have a 76-foot yacht Juice, as a president of a union,
Uh,
like not working, not out there busting his ass on the job site like these people, like his members. It's ridiculous. Sorry. It sounded
dude, I
like
would no. I'd be careful how much you're gonna. Hey, I'm basically saying I didn't say all that. This guy might run through you.
Dude.
Everything you might get anything to your house going forward. It all runs through
nothing's
him,
coming.
and you just
Nothing's
toilet
coming.
paper, nothing.
Nothing. He beat a racketeering charge. He was on trial he was gonna stand trial for something. Guy who was gonna testify against him's body was found in the back of a trunk, Juice, and they dropped charges on him. Like, yes, this dude is the real life.
And you're on the
Tony
internet.
Soprano.
You're on the internet ripping them.
Yes,
So.
exactly. I am.
Dude, I'm pro. I think it should be 78%.
I love it. It's crazy though, dude. And remember the time that I talked about on the show when we talked unions at one point, and I was hearing, oh, the CEO, the big bad CEO that they want to paint a picture of. That's this guy. The president of your union is a CEO. He's the CEO of the union, and he doesn't work like the working person. He doesn't relate. He can't relate to the working stiff. He's in, like, his main goal is holding his seat at that table. That's what he cares about, and he doesn't care about us. But we should be bringing more work here to the States, return work here, lumber work here, steel work here, reopen those factories. I'd rather, these guys want 77% raise. See if you can give 50% raise on what the longshoremen are making to people working in a steel mill again. Bring that job back. Do stuff like that, and screw the guys on the ships. Get some more robots there,
or people applying through the app.
Yeah.
Undocumented.
We got people immigrating here via app. Dude, we do. With people moving from country to country via app to come here, yet we need guys like him to come pick a container up,
physically pick it up like 1,000 guys.
Yeah, come on, heave.
Yeah, I don't know.
And actually, that thing he said, the cool down thing that he was talking about, that's power that the federal government has. So the president has this power. Joe Biden has the authority to do this right now, where he can
like, hey, we need to. Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. But you guys
force them back. They cannot.
Show a good faith too.
They cannot strike. Exactly. Yeah. Force them back to work because it's going to ruin the economy. And it has to be 90 days where they work on the contract. But this guy says, okay, do that to me. You know
what we're moving boxes? We're not moving boxes.
We'll move one crate a day. Oh, we're here. We're punching in, but we're going to just half-ass it. That person should get fired then. See you later. You're not doing the job. You're not doing the work. Going to come back and play games with us.
I don't know his whole business. Yeah, I don't know enough about this necessarily. And I'm not but this, I can tell you this guy isn't a great face.
Not at all.
Come to the bargaining table with the big chain.
And another thing that aggravates me with this is the fear of computer help and automation and it's the way the world is going. I get it.
I know. I'm kind of afraid of that myself.
No, I get it. And we do have to be careful, yet we can't be afraid of it. And you need to realize that for jobs that are going to be lost, jobs are going to be gained because new jobs that we can't even think of are going to be created. Honest to God, Juice, I was looking this up beforehand because I wanted to use it. No, it's not, Juice. It's not. I wanted to.
So they automate everything, bro. And then
no, they're always going to need something. But there used to be people. There was a job in this country about 100 years ago that was light guy walking down the street, lighting the lights.
You see Mary Poppins with
Lin-Manuel played that, right?
And he's spinning around the poles.
What would they do? What would we do if back then, 100 years ago, these guys, you want your lights to turn on now? We're all going on strike. We're not lighting those lamps. Think you're going to get rid of us? Not that easy. Oh, you can just flick a switch and these things can turn on automatically? No. not the light switch team, not the light switch union, the lamplighters of America. We're going to cripple you guys. We're not lighting anything. We're going to light it and keep it on all night. We won't show back up to put it out the next morning. How do you like them apples?
I don't know. I think we need to keep it moving, but maybe we'll have to put it in the comments, have a debate about it. I think that like there can eventually be too much automation and stuff.
There could be, but they need to. You need to embrace
another computer fixes that computer that goes down or whatever, or like it's like, oh, what's a way to make sure these things never go down? You know,
maybe, but like maybe that guy starts teaching his members how to be more productive with the computers, like how to make themselves valuable members that can work on the computer side of things. Like I know.
I don't know if those are the same guy though. Like the existing Longshoremen is going to be the AI.
Not that guy. Not that guy.
He's just put your body in a trunk.
But dude, it's all relative though. You're still going to need jobs are going to evolve and adapt. There's jobs now that nobody would have thought of 50 years ago. So there's a way in refusing to compete on the world stage because of people like him asking for the production that they get from their members is far less than production that's achieved in other countries in the world. Yet they want a 77% raise to stay on the job. It's like, dude, we're doing you a favor by allowing you to still work here and not replacing you with a computer. Now you're going to hold everybody's like foot to the fire too here. Like, I don't know, man. All right, I get it.
Dude's done some mansplaining before, don't you think? He's mansplained.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mansplained a thing or two.
Oh,
I'll show you what a strike is. You ain't never seen a strike.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh, dude. No, I mean, I'm on your team still.
Yeah.
All right, move on.
All right. So let's keep this going. We'll bring this thing home with our always fun, always popular, come on, man, segment of the day. And this is when we like to find a video of somebody doing something, saying something so absurd, so ridiculous that there's not much else we can say to them except,
oh, man.
Exactly. So I told you we were going to return to the debate. We'll go right back to the well with our boy Tampon Tim, and we're going to make this whole come on, man segment about him. We usually only give you one clip in this segment. We're going to give you a plethora of clips from this man. And it's all going to show you just how bad he is at this, how not ready for primetime this man is, and just how bug-eyed and frantic he was the whole night.
Who rang the bell?
Exactly. That's the guy that we were dealing with. So let's start with, this might have been Juice's favorite one. Like favorite's not the right word because it's terrible. But Juice, what do you think of this one?
It's hilarious. I just love when people mix up things, or I've loved that my whole life. Right? Those are my favorite thing, like gag reels and stuff.
Yeah. And this, like he's clearly not trying to say what he said, I know, but he looks like such a moron.
Yeah, here you go.
In that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look, the NRA, I was an NRA guy for a long time. They used to teach gun safety. I'm of an age where my shotgun was in my car so I could pheasant hunt after football practice.
Give that back.
Yeah, dude, and I think like friends with those Sandy Hook parents. Like that's a little like weird way to say that, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I know those Sandy Hook parents. I'm friends with school shooters.
He's trying to get
I'm just a coach with a duck hunting on the side.
In that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look, the NRA, I was an NRA guy for a long time. They used to teach gun safety. I'm of an age where
Look, the NRA, I remember before the NRA existed, and you could just put them on a rack on the back of your truck and then shoot some pheasants on the way home. Oh, don't even have to stop and get out.
Friends with plenty of school shooters. Wow.
I know those Sandy Hook parents.
Yep, those Sandy Hook ones. Wow, so bad. So the next one that we have for you, it's not like super cringy. It's more so has the semblance of a decent answer when they were talking about abortion, but he just can't bring it home in the end, and he completely lies and makes something up. And he, since he's a Democrat, did not get fact checked by the moderators. So, Juice, you want to give us this one?
There's a young woman named Amber Thurman. She happened to be in Georgia, a restrictive state. Because of that, she had to travel a long distance to North Carolina to try and get her care. Amber Thurman died in that journey back and forth. The fact of the matter is, how can we as a nation say that your life and your rights, as basic as the right to control your own body, is determined on geography? There's a very real chance, had Amber Thurman lived in Minnesota, she would be alive today. That's why the restoration of Roe versus Wade. When you listen to Vice President Harris talk about this subject and you hear me talk about it, you hear us talking exactly the same. Donald Trump is trying to figure out how to get the political right of this. I agree with a lot of what Senator Vance said about what's happening. His running mate, though, does not, and that's the problem.
Governor,
sorry, I reversed that. Like, he sounded a little bit better towards the end of his answer. Don't agree with it, but at least once after the bug eyes went away, he kind of, like, I could see how that would play for someone, basically. But the whole beginning of it is where complete lie and false, scenario that he painted for people. Sorry.
Dude, what if the mod said, actually, it's not healthcare for just her only. Let me fact check you on that. It's not healthcare just for her own body autonomy. What about the other body human that's involved in this scenario? They would never fact check like
They
that,
would
right?
never.
I know I stumbled over that a little bit, but you know what I'm trying to say?
No, I know exactly.
Actually, let me stop you right there. What about the other,
Yeah. No, it's actually not the mother's body we're talking about. It's the baby inside of the mother that
imagine if they
killed.
fact checked.
Oh, crazy. Or if they just simply came on and said, you know what, actually, Governor Walz, I think if you just click on
Senator,
the right and wrong
YouTube
page, if you just go to that, you can find last week's episode and, click the segment where they talked about Amber Thurman, and you'll see that the two gentlemen on screen there, they explained it perfectly well, that the girl died because she took abortion pills, not because of a heartbeat bill in the state of Georgia, because at the time that she died, her babies had already died from the abortion pill that she took. So there was no heartbeat that would have prevented medical attention to be given to her. So, Governor, crazy.
Yeah, then what did you say? And then the governor, and he's like,
who rang that bell?
Yes. Yep. That's exactly what you would have got from him. So, and again, though, like, you saw the split screen, the Vance is just there listening, looking at him, looked pretty normal. And Walz he was doing like a Liz Warren there, like, right, with like getting all crazy. And it's just like, dude, deliver your message in a normal, like, calm, cool, collected delivery. Don't act like me talking about the Longshoremen guy. Like, just give it to us straight, man. Okay. So after that, we went out of order. So this actually was before the abortion little bit there. So I wanted to play it afterwards because I think it hammers the point home a little bit more when a man wants to stand up on stage making a quote like the one we're about to show you, and then in the next breath wants to sit there and defend, the murder of babies, sacrificing children to the gods of leftism. So, Juice, why don't we hear what he tried to bust out?
I don't talk about my faith a lot, but Matthew 25:40 talks about, to the least amongst us you do unto me. I think that's true of most Americans. They simply want.
So cheap, right? I can't stand that stuff. And believe me, we talk a lot on this show about our faith and religion. And I feel uncomfortable a lot of times when I talk about it on the show because I don't feel like I completely live up to what I talk about. I think it's important to talk about it. I want to aspire to live up to all the observations, the faith-based, lifestyle that I speak about here, but I don't. I fail at times. I'm a sinner, and it really like worries me to try to come across as like preachy at times, or like, my stuff doesn't stink, when of course it does. This guy gets up there and he wants to use a Bible verse like that to try to give himself like some credibility to try and win a couple of votes in the Rust Belt with that. And then, a few minutes later talks about how it's fine to, murder your child and tell you a sob story, a phony sob story about a girl who, whose children died and who died because she took a pill to kill her own children. It's just terrible. And the reason I wanted that in here is to just show you his lack of credibility with everything he does. Like, framed the abortion thing wrong, lied about Amber Thurman. I don't believe he doesn't talk about his faith, because I don't think he has true faith. I think he was just trying to use faith there for political advantage, and it stunk. You could see it a mile away. JD Vance mentioned his faith at one point and something about God, and I believe that the guy actually believes that. I believe he practices what he preaches, because he talks about it more than once, and the way he carries himself and the way he lives his public life shows me that. This Walz guy
doesn't about it more than once.
It's crazy. So that was cheap. Now
normally I don't do this, but
yeah, like, come on. So that leads into our last one, which is just him being a complete fraud, and the fact checker moderators actually did hold him to this one, and this was like it was like watching someone's political career just end right in front of us. Like, if they don't win this presidency, you're never going to hear about this guy again.
Gosh, he's like, gosh.
Yeah.
Like, basically, right?
That was great.
You got me, like.
Yeah. All right, give it to us.
Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, well, and to the folks out there who didn't get at the top of this, look, I grew up in small rural Nebraska, town of 400, town that you rode your bike with your buddies till the streetlights come on, and I'm proud of that service. I joined the National Guard at 17, worked on family farms, and then I used the GI Bill to become a teacher, passionate about it, a young teacher.
Dude, sorry. I was frantically waving to Juice to stop that for a sec. Is that Kamala's playbook right there? Get asked a difficult question. I grew up in a middle-class family. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he's like, look, if you didn't catch it at the beginning of the program,
yeah,
I'm a rural boy. We rode up bikes till the street lights come on. Those street lights come on.
Oh, dude, Juice, he just rode his bike down the street until the lamplighter lit that lamp for him.
Until they went on strike, and they rode their bikes from night till morn. All right, here, let's play it.
All right, go ahead.
Keeping it tight.
Walz, you said you were in Hong Kong during the deadly Tiananmen Square protests in the spring of 1989. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of that year. Can you explain that discrepancy?
Yeah, well, and to the folks out there who didn't get at the top of this, look, I grew up in small rural Nebraska, town of 400, town that you rode your bike with your buddies till the streetlights come on, and I'm proud of that service. I joined the National Guard at 17, worked on family farms, and then I used the GI Bill to become a teacher, passionate about it, a young teacher. My first year out, I got the opportunity in the summer of '89 to travel to China. 35 years ago, be able to do that. I came back home and then started a program to take young people there. We would take basketball teams, we would take baseball teams, we would take dancers, and we would go back and forth to China. The issue for that was to try and learn. Now, look, my community knows who I am. They saw where I was at. Look, I will be the first to tell you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect. And I'm a knucklehead at times, but it's always been about that. Those same people elected me to Congress for 12 years. And in Congress, I was one of the most bipartisan people, working on things like farm bills that we got done, working on veterans benefits. And then the people of Minnesota were able to elect me to governor twice. So look, my commitment has been from the beginning to make sure that I'm there for the people, to make sure that I get this right. I will say more than anything, many times I will talk a lot. I will get caught up in the rhetoric. But being there, the impact it made, the difference it made in my life, I learned a lot about China. I hear the critiques of this. I would make the case that Donald Trump should have come on one of those trips with us. I guarantee you he wouldn't be praising Xi Jinping about COVID. And I guarantee you he wouldn't start a trade war that he ends up losing. So this is about trying to understand the world. It's about trying to do the best you can for your community. And then it's putting yourself out there and letting your folks understand what it is. My commitment, whether it be through teaching, which I was good at, or whether it was being a good soldier or was being a good member of Congress, those are the things that I think are the values that people care about.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the discrepancy?
All I said on this was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said. So I was in Hong Kong and China during the democracy protests went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in government.
Yeah, long story short, I didn't go. I wasn't there.
Like literally, I wanted to show the whole thing just to hear the whole ramble and stuff. But like anything,
that's not the whole thing.
Like no, that was. But I'm saying like she asked him a question. He gave a 2-minute.
I'm rural guy at the thing.
And she just drops. Okay, well the question was, were you there or not? And he's like,
gosh, well, I'm a knucklehead. I'm just a small town rural boy.
Like, what is
he's like,
that?
He's like, you know me, I'll talk. I'll get caught up in the decorum. Like, whatever. The rhetoric.
Talking out of my ass over here.
I'll get caught up in all the rhetoric, but I'm a good guy deep down.
My community likes me.
Gosh, I'm just a knucklehead,
But he even like his follow-up to was like, just misspoke. And, and he like stops and he thought it was going to be like shifted and they like kept it on him. Oh shit, I got to keep talking.
Yeah, they did it more.
So, it's about it. That's all I got.
So yeah, it's a no. It's a no for me on the
on the old Tiananmen Square situation.
Yeah. But if he had his way, he'd tell you he was the guy with the briefcase or whatever. If you don't check him on it, right? Yeah, stood that tank down, looked right in the barrel of that. Got caught up in the decorum, but I did my job, and I'm proud of the service.
Oh, that's great. All right. So Tim Walz, for all of those reasons, you, my friend, have earned yourself one big, fat, classic.
Come on, man.
And that'll do it for tonight's episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Please subscribe to the show. Right and Wrong YouTube page, the Right and Wrong Rumble page. Follow us on Apple, Spotify. Throw us a comment, please. Give us a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And until next week, thanks.
Thank you
for having us. The Right and Wrong Show is produced by Juice. Executive producer, Juice. Audio mixer is Juice. Hair by Skull Shavers. Wardrobe and makeup by Ashley Ruka. Right and Wrong song created by Juice. The Right and Wrong Show is copyright 2022 from Brian Ruka.